Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We sure appreciate you guys coming on as usual, and we'll take a few folks and say hello to them as we love to do at the start of the program. It's always interesting to see what happens. There's Brahim, Andrea, and Michael. No, Madeleine, you got in the top 3 this morning. Janice, good to have you guys on. And Jocelyn, Sturgeon Falls, bonjour. Rosalinda, the sunny kidneys of Canada. Brahim saying it's 80 degrees there out in Portland, Oregon. Nellie, how are you? Rosa from Montreal. John from Elgin. I missed somebody up there. Come on back and say hello again. Kristen, Saskatchewan. Fran, how are you? Wendy, Markham. And Kathy, good morning. And Brahim says Mike's watching. I didn't see his name there. Donna, how are you? Anne, how are you? Linda, do we ever love those Lindas? Kevin, Ashwa, good morning. Cal, Francis Marie, how are you? Jude, I missed you. Sorry. Troy, New York. Anna, Rhoda, Labrador, Maria, Ottawa, and Darlene, good morning from Saskatchewan. Johanna, and Elaine's from St. John's, Newfoundland. Yolande, bonjour. Mike, I missed you, eh? There's Doc McEwen from West Tennessee. Sharon. Donna from Newfoundland. Gail, good morning. Nice to have you on. Birashan, how are you? Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. Another Linda from New Brunswick. Sharon, good morning. Janet, good morning from Beamsville, Lorraine. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Kathy from Port Perry, good morning. Cindy, Saskatchewan. Beverly, good morning. Carol, up in the clouds. Linda, another Linda from Chatham. Brandon, Indiana. Evangeline, good morning. Gertie, Burlington. Catherine from Newfoundland, Springdale. And now you guys are saying hello to others, right? Marl, how are you? Bonnie, a couple of more guys, we'll get going. Luella from West Tennessee. Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Patricia, saying good morning to Kevin. Elaine, good morning. Wanda from Virginia. I missed you. I didn't mean it. Margie, how are you? Trish, Arlene. Guys, when I miss you, I really feel sorry. Annette, Sue, Manitoulin Island. I guess the sun's just about out everywhere. Marlene, Milika, and Brenda, and Lori from Cambridge. You guys are great. Thanks, Elaine. Norma, guys are saying hello to each other. I like that. You guys are getting to know each other. Dave, Kelly, you're even talking about getting together and playing golf. Okay, yeah, I love that. You guys are saying hello. Okay, so let me just finish up, okay? Let me just finish up on inflammation yesterday, okay? So we talked about inflammation. We talked about the body being on fire, and it all came out of a National Geographic. I hadn't seen it, but my friend told me all about it. And, you know, I said, well, good. I'm glad they're talking about inflammation. I'm glad they're talking about this silent killer, really. Okay? Inflammation, you know, and then we broke that down yesterday. And just let me finish up by saying this, okay? So inflammation is never first. It's always a response, okay? Even in an infection. Inflammation doesn't come first. Fever doesn't come first. It comes after a viral or a bacteria, right? And inflammation in the body never comes first. That's why when they say it's at the root of all disease, well, I disagree with that. It's there, no doubt about it, but it's not first. First is insulin resistance. 93% of the population have metabolic syndrome, which starts with insulin resistance. It's a food problem. And insulin resistance creates inflammation. Leaky gut creates inflammation. Free radical damage creates inflammation. Okay? And then I added a couple. Low vitamin D creates inflammation. One way to lower your inflammation, guys, is vitamin D. That's been proven. It's very, very anti-inflammatory. That's why you feel so good when you get in the sun. Okay? It's one of the reasons. It's very anti-inflammatory. And we all know what vitamin D does for your immune system. Your T cells especially. Your Navy SEALs. They're waiting for vitamin D. They're solar panels. But your body really is a solar panel. Okay? So, what do we do? What do we do? Inflammation, what do we do? Well, okay, sun, steak, and steel. By the way, books on sale. Sun, steak, and steel. Okay? So the sun, vitamin D, very anti-inflammatory. Steak, okay, very anti-inflammatory. Steel, exercise, but especially getting strong, very anti-inflammatory, it helps. And sleep, right? Sleep, very important. Cut back on sugar, obviously. Cut back on sugar. One of the best things that happens during the reset is people that don't eat sugar. If you do nothing else, what a difference that makes in inflammatory processes. Just cutting back on sugar. And of course, if you cut back on seed oils, that's why, guys, I'm not so big on keto. Okay, when people talk about keto foods, a lot of times they are just full of seed oil. They're made with bad oils. They're hydrogenated. I don't like that. I'm much much bigger on eggs, meat, and cheese. Eat real foods. Eggs, meat, cheese, dairy, butter, lots of it. You'll feel better. It's very anti-inflammatory. And, of course, probiotics. Okay? These things are very, very anti-inflammatory. Okay. I wanted to just finish up on that. On inflammation that we talked about yesterday. Let me bring up another topic because people are asking the question on our private Facebook group. I was talking to somebody last night and said, you know, we're up to, just on the private Facebook group, over 23,000 people are in that group. That's so good. That's so good. What a community. Thank you for that. Okay, 23,000 people are in the private Facebook group, and we have 89,500 and something, 89,500 something followers on Facebook. Again, guys, I give you all the credit for that. You guys are my little disciples out there and pumping up the word and telling people to tune in to The Doctor Is In. If they can do it live, great. If they can't, on their favorite smart device, they can get the podcast. The Doctor Is In. Thank you for that. Okay. A question we often get asked, well, I saw it the other day, and like a lot of times I don't answer because I would be there all day answering. Okay? But sometimes if I have time, I'll answer. But somebody was asking the difference, like, Dr. Martin, okay, what do you take? And we've answered that. If you don't get our emails, make sure you sign up. Go to martinclinic.com and sign up for our emails, because we put a lot of information out every week besides what I do here. Okay? Besides what I do here, we put it, people like that, it's in a written form in their emails. So you can sign up for our emails at martinclinic.com. Okay? Now, they asked me what I do. Well, I take a lot of supplements, but I talk about my fabulous 5. Okay? But there's a few others that sometimes we don't talk about as much. And maybe over the next little bit, I'll take time just to give you a little bit more on individual products, okay, that I like. I personally like a lot. Now, one of the biggest problems that we have, where is all the energy gone? That could be a song. Where has all the energy gone? People are tired. Listen. In my office, I sort of, I used to see a lot of people. But for, I don't know, almost 20 years, I was sort of a specialist in chronic fatigue syndrome. And I guess you can understand why I wrote my thesis on it, chronic fatigue syndrome, and we put it into a book. And hold on a minute. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, I showed you this the other day, and this is in French, but where's my English one? Chronic fatigue syndrome, here it is. Okay? Chronic fatigue, and you guys see it on Facebook. Facebook changed, by the way, okay? And the writing's backwards again, and I can't fix it, okay? It was an update that they did, and I have no idea what to do about it to get that so you can read it the right way. Anyway, I wrote a book published in French, English, Chronic Fatigue Syndrome for the Modern Woman, okay? Steps to Fight Chronic Fatigue. And I wrote my thesis, and then I published it into a book. And I talked about the research we did on chronic fatigue, and I sort of specialized in it for many, many years. And people were exhausted coming to see me. And, I really did a lot of that. And so here's a statement that people would make. Doc, I am so tired of being tired. Okay? I'm so tired of being tired. Exhausted. Do you know what I'm talking about, folks? Any of you ever been there? Do you know people that are there? They're exhausted. And one of the factors, okay, it's not the only factor, but it's one of the factors. If you understand how your body operates, okay, let's just talk about energy. Let's talk about fuel for a minute. How does your body, you eat, right? And, you need a good stomach, you need good absorption, you need to break down protein, and your body is, what a machine. Unbelievable, okay? Like, you're so fearfully and wonderfully made, I can't get over it. To the detail of how you take food in, and that turns into energy. And you remember from your high school class, the energy centers in your cells, every cell in your body has battery packs. What are they called? Your mitochondria. Okay? Your mitochondria. And one of the biggest problems with mitochondria is they can lose their ability to produce ATP, which is fuel, energy. You'll always produce some, but there's many factors that will reduce energy levels. Well, one of them, and we talk about this all the time, is the food you eat. Your body can only produce energy based on what you're eating. So if you eat, for example, you have a piece of bread. Remember, guys, that bread is just sugar molecules holding hands. Okay? That's really what it is today. I mean, at one time, biblical bread, okay, you had the wheat germ kernel, you had all that. None of that was broken down. There was vitamins in there and much less carbohydrate, okay? But today, 99% of all breads, they're just sugar molecules holding hands. That's why when I put people on the reset, I don't let them have any bread for a month. Can't have any bread. I'm trying to fix your insulin. Okay? And you're just eating bagels and stuff like that. All that is sugar molecules holding hands. Pasta, sugar molecules holding hands. And you're never going to produce the right type of energy from those foods. You'll produce energy, but it's not the right type. Because your body was designed to eat eggs, meat, and dairy. The good dairy, you know. Unfortunately, there's bad dairy around, okay? Good dairy. Like butter, like cream, like cheese. And that's why I always say eggs, meat, and cheese. EMC. Make it short, make it sweet. Okay? Not really sweet, but very good for you. Okay? So, at the end of the cycle, the Krebs cycle, you get ATP, the energy. Okay? You get energy. And when you're exhausted, there's something there, and it could be several factors, that just drain the living life out of you. And like I've been telling you, I'm a why guy. Why? I want to know why. Why are you low in energy? Okay? Are you anemic? Maybe you don't have enough blood. Maybe you don't have enough red blood cells. Maybe you don't have, you know what I mean? But one of the big things that I used to see is people eating the wrong food. So my illustration, look, you can use different ones. I like illustrations. It's the way my mind works. You're trying to heat your home. That's energy, by the way, right? You need energy to heat your home. You're heating your home, and you have a wood stove. You have a fireplace. You're heating your home. You got it? Yeah. Okay. Now, what do you put in there? Do you put twigs and paper? Well, maybe to start. But if you want to heat your home with the best fuel that lasts longer, you put logs in there. You get it, right? And that's the same thing. Like, unfortunately, in medicine, They never start with food. They rarely talk about it. Doctors are so specialized today. They don't know a carb from a protein if it slapped them in the face. They don't learn it in medical school. So when you talk, you go to your doctor and, "Doc, I'm exhausted." Okay. I don't know why I didn't even put my thumb up and the thumb came up. "I'm exhausted, Doc." Okay. And the first part I agree with. They're going to take your blood work. They're going to take your blood work. They want to make sure you don't have cancer. Or you don't have some kind of, disease or whatever. So they do blood work. If it comes back from in normal limits, they go, "You're stressed." Or, "I don't know, nothing to worry about." Because they don't deal with energy very well. Because they don't, how can you deal with energy, your body's ability to create energy, when you don't even know much about food? And in medical schools, I hate to tell you, it's almost unbelievable, they don't learn anything about food. They leave that to dietitians. That's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's one of the reasons our medical system is so, I hate to use the word screwed up, because they don't have any background in nutrition. So, your blood work is normal. What do you want me to tell you? But if they understood food and say, "Well, let me do a history, let me do a survey, let's find out what you're eating." That's what I used to do. Guys, I didn't even have to ask patients. I can tell by their blood work. When you look at it properly, I can tell what they were eating. I often told patients this because I'd measure their A1C or whatever, and I'd turn around and say to them, "Joe, put your hand up." Okay? Put your hand up. Okay? I got my hand up, Doc. Repeat after me. "My name is Joe, and I'm a carbaholic." Okay? I did this in my office. You can ask my staff. I often did it. I said, "Put your hand up. And my name is Mary, and I'm a carbaholic." I said, "Okay, you got the memo?" "Oh, Dr. Martin, I don't eat that many carbs." Right? I said, "Well, your A1C is telling me different. You're a carbaholic." "Yeah, but it's whole wheat, Dr. Martin. It's 12 grain that I eat." "Stone ground. I don't care. You're a carbaholic. You eat too many carbs. They all turn to sugar. You're on the wrong fuel." Okay? Look, I was pretty blunt, I think you guys agree with me. Well, for what you know, right? I see myself as a very nice guy, okay? You know what? I see myself as a nice guy. But I was pretty blunt with people. Okay? Because I tried to get their attention. You have no idea how many times I had to, I I hate to use the word argue, but I had to do a lot of convincing to make people realize they were, you know what's the worst deception is? Self-deception. That's the worst deception there is. When you fool yourself. I'm not a carbaholic. Yes, you are. Accept it. It's the first stage of recovery. Acceptance. It's the truth. Okay? I used to tell stories of people. Seriously. Okay? I remember a guy came into my office one time, long time ago. And he just came from the oncologist. And the oncologist told him he had cancer. It was advanced. And he didn't believe the oncologist, so he came to see me. And he had his all his paperwork with him. He had his medical records. He had, I think he had the MRI results and whatever. And I said to him, I said, your doc's right. And then he got mad at me. He didn't take the memo. And by the way, he was dead within about 3 weeks. Like, what was I going to tell him? Don't worry about it. I just told him the truth. I said, your doctor's right. You got a I'm reading your report. You got it's like people come in, they got severe insulin resistance. And I would tell them that. I said, you are effectively a diabetic. Yeah, but my doctor, I don't care what your doctor said. I don't care what your doctor said. You're a diabetic. Doc, no, yes. You got sugar in your urine. Your body's getting rid of sugar. It'll do everything it can to get rid of sugar. But that means you're a carbaholic, and you and carbs and sugars don't get along. Stop it. That's the memo. Doc, what do I do? Stop eating carbs. Don't have, temporarily. Don't have any. Pretty dramatic. Okay, let me get back to energy. That was a whole sidetrack there. So we know how we make energy. Food. You don't eat. No energy. That's why you eat. A lot of people don't. We live in a world where people, live to eat rather than eat to live, right? And guys, I love food. I married an Italian. And I'm going to tell you something. There's no one, okay, that can cook like my wife. I haven't met anyone yet. Her mother was unreal. My wife is a superstar, okay? Every day, I got to talk to myself, okay? Every day, I got to talk to myself. It's difficult, isn't it? It's not easy. We're surrounded by food. And how about if you lived with an Italian? Okay? That loves to, my wife doesn't love to eat. She likes to make it. Why do you think her grandchildren, okay? I don't care if it's Christmas, Easter, or whatever. Grandma, well, we're going to have a turkey. No, we're not. We're having your pasta. That's my grandchildren. All of them. Okay? All 11 of them. We want grandma's pasta. Okay? That's my wife. The best. Anyway, back to energy. Because someone was asking the other day, okay? They were asking, what's ubiquinol? What is that? Why does Dr. Martin talk about that? Why is it that he has that as a supplement? Well, One of them is for energy because ubiquinol, okay, CoQ10, okay, your body makes CoQ10. It's part of the process. Every cell in your body has CoQ10. Every cell in your body has CoQ10. And CoQ10 is involved in the cycle of you turning food into energy at the mitochondrial level, the battery pack level. So your body actually makes CoQ10. Okay? Now, CoQ10 has become famous because of statin drugs, cholesterol lowering medication. Okay? Everybody knows this, and you want to get me a migraine is when I hear doctors who prescribe statin drugs to lower cholesterol. Right away, that gives me a migraine. But secondly, when they don't tell patients, by the way, one of the major side effects of Crestor, Lipitor, Zocor is it will lower your CoQ10 levels. And now you're not going to make as much energy at the mitochondrial level. Even though your body makes CoQ10, statin drugs wipe it out. And that has a major effect on your metabolism, a major effect on energy, and energy that goes to your muscles especially. Okay? So for years and years and years, okay, I would tell, and I'm talking to you about 40 years, when any one of my patients ever took a statin drug, look, I don't have to tell you, I think, what I think of statin drugs. I'm not big on them because they're looking for love in all the wrong places. If cholesterol was at the root of heart disease, we'd all be dead. Okay? And if cholesterol was at the root of heart disease, and statins would have cured heart disease. Has it? No, it's worse than ever. Because it's looking for love in all the wrong places. Okay? But statin drugs are famous for destroying CoQ10. If you don't take CoQ10, okay, now remember your body makes it. And you produce more CoQ10 when you eat steak. Steak. There's no food in the world that gives you more CoQ10 for energy than a steak. There's no food. Maybe liver. I don't talk about liver. You guys know me. I don't like liver. It's good for you, but I don't like it. So I use steak. Steak is the best food in the world. It's not even close. You want to get up your levels of CoQ10? Eat steak. If you you're still drained, take ubiquinol. Don't take ubiquinol. You know how many patients that I saw over the years and people that I talked to on my radio show over the years, I said, read your labels. Read the label. If it says ubiquinone, your urine is going to be expensive for nothing. You're not absorbing it. It's poorly absorbed. Why are you taking that? You need ubiquinol, O-L at the end. Because that's the CoQ10. Look, I would rather you eat your CoQ10. Eat it. Have steak. But almost every medication, especially statin drugs, will rip apart your CoQ10 at the cellular level, at the mitochondria level. It affects that pathway. You need to fix that. And so people were asking me, long story, to come back to the question, Why does Dr. Martin talk about ubiquinol or CoQ10? Why does he do that? Do a session on it. Okay. Okay. Why do you need CoQ10? Very important. Okay? It's very important. And CoQ10, by the way, it's an energy producer, but it's also an antioxidant. Okay? So it helps to protect the body, especially at the mitochondrial level. It protects the mitochondria from free radical damage, oxidation. Okay? Anyway, I wanted to bring that to you because I get asked these questions all the time. And I love when you ask questions. I want you to understand. I want you to understand. And I got the smartest audience in the world. Guys, I don't just say that. I know it. I know it. I give you all honorary nutritional degrees. I'm telling you, most of you know more than nutritionists do. And I mean it. I've taught a lot of nutrition over the years. Okay? I've taught a lot of nutrition. I put you guys up against many of people that I've talked to over the years. Okay, guys, tomorrow is Q&A, right? We're going to do Q&A tomorrow. So get your questions in. It's not too late. info@martinclinic.com. info@martinclinic.com. Get your questions in, for the doctor is in. Q&A coming tomorrow. Okay. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.